So if I walk down here to like pour beer, do you want me to? Is that okay, or do you want me to bring anything closer?
It doesn't matter. We'll get
Okay, sweet.
eventually.
Yeah, everything's in shot. So.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, and we're rolling. Yeah, hey, hello, hi, welcome to the Rotating Tap Comedy Podcast. Getting right into it.
Yeah, it's been a day already.
Time crunch.
Sometimes when we do these field trips, this is the farthest one that we've actually done at this point, because otherwise it's just up to Greeley.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of excuses to want to go up to Greeley. At least there's reasons to want to come up to Glenwood Springs.
There you go.
Do you not agree?
Hot Springs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go see the people in Aspen, see the rich people.
Yeah.
Coming up here for that.
But we're really happy to be here. We had to go over the river and through the woods to make it happen, but we're here up at KC Brewing up in Glenwood Springs.
Glenwood!
With our boy Troy. And Troy, tell us a little bit about what you do here. Say hi.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate it, especially with all this weather. So that was really nice of you guys to come up. Appreciate it. We are our brewery. We're almost 7 years old. We specialize in oak fermented and aged, barrel-aged sour beers, like farmhouse style brewing. And which is kind of funny because we're drinking an IPA that we made
Yeah,
right
what the
now.
fuck, man?
We didn't, it's 2020, everything changes, and so we make a little bit of these now. I'm sure we can talk about that. But what we are known for and what we started with was just making oak fermented beers, and we'll taste those here soon too.
Nice.
Yeah, sounds good. Now, why? I guess leading into what you just said, like I've known you guys for your sour beers, and they're like kind of world renowned for that program. But why are you doing the hazies? Because the tourists need something to drink too, and they're just like, I didn't know that all the beers here were going to taste like vinegar.
Yeah. Well, hopefully none of our beers taste like vinegar,
Yeah,
because if they do, we dump them. But maybe to the
I was saying that as a plea.
Yes,
that
yes,
doesn't
yes.
know.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I say a lot of dumb shit, so it's okay.
It's true, he does. I hear most of it.
So we started doing it because we got some new tanks in, and we were just like, well, we might as well. It's what we like to do. It's like what we like to drink too sometimes, and so we did it just because we wanted to keep us interesting. We opened up a new tap room in downtown Glenwood Springs last year, and it was definitely something we wanted to have on tap. Were some stouts and some stouts and some like hazy IPA style beers.
Yeah.
Are there any other breweries up here?
Yeah, there's Glenwood Canyon Brew Pub, which is downtown, and then there's we've got 2 locations here, and then there's another one on the outskirts that recently opened up this year as well.
Yeah, are you just gonna turn this place into like a mob situation where you have something in every corner of town and can keep an eye on things?
I think that's exactly what we're trying
I
to
think
do.
you should, yeah. I was gonna say turn this into a crime syndicate really fast.
For sure, yeah.
I mean, this does look like the kind of joint that somebody would have bootlegged stuff out of the
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
does.
know what these barrels are actually filled with.
Yeah, it's people like we sell our barrels when we're done with them to locals, and people come down here and they're like, I had no idea this place existed, and we're like, well, that's good and bad, I guess. But yeah,
I
here we
found
are.
$5 in my barrel. What a fun time that was, and some drugs. That's great. So, what are we drinking? Because I mean, you poured us a hazy. Let's talk about it. Like, what are we drinking right now?
So this is a beer called Citrus Says Go. It is fresh off the tank. We're going to bottle it in a few days. And this is 100% Citra hazy IPA. And so it's got some oats in there as well. And so kind of give it that creaminess. But then we just wanted to focus on some Citra to kind of showcase that.
Yeah, big fan with the Clydesdales, I'm sure. Nice oat beer.
Yeah, exactly. What's funny is we actually sell, or not sell, but we give away
You guys do it all.
It's a glue.
we give our spent grain is picked up by a farmer who grows or raises bulls that are in professional bull riding events.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's the technical way to say it. Professional bull riding events.
Have you gotten yelled at before for not saying it right?
I'm sure if anybody was here that knew anything, they would be like, that guy's an idiot. He has
Yeah.
no idea what he's talking about. But yeah.
It's like, is that a
Cows. They're
janitor?
called cows.
Is that a janitor custodian kind of thing, where it's just like one's very respectful and the other one's trash?
I just think I have no idea how to say it. Like, so he probably doesn't say he raises bulls. He probably says cattle or steers.
Steer.
I think they hate that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2020. You can't say steer anymore.
I think that's all they say. They don't say smear the steer in elementary school.
So, since hazy IPAs are like crazy popular, and I know you'd said you had a West Coast IPA that you were brewing. So is it predominantly just those two things, like it's sours and then the hazy stuff that you're mostly putting out?
Yeah, and some stouts in there as well. So we've got some like adjunct stouts. What are they called? Pastry stouts.
Yeah.
We
Getting it on that
we
train,
dabbled
huh?
a little bit in that. Yeah. we did some of that.
So what's the go-to pastry for you?
Vanilla. Do you guys want to try one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You're the best. You're just like, anytime you want me to open a bottle, just make a sound. This is the time for he asked for a signal.
It's crazy. I've been tugging on my ear for the last 10 minutes.
So this is the time where you do a crow caw, and that means that we have to open.
I was more of a hooty hoo kind of guy. But
Yeah, that's true. We can change it to hoot. Well, that'll be your call.
Okay.
Steve's got to come up with one on his own. Make a bird sound.
Beer, please.
Oh, shit.
So this is Stout Tribe. This is a beer that we did in collaboration with Microphone Brewing out of Chicago, Illinois. So they're amazing pastry stout artists, and we did this collab with Mike from those guys last year, but this one was just bottled last month. And it's an imperial stout made with Madagascar vanilla.
It tastes delicious, yeah.
Thank
But
you.
I like the fact that you didn't go full pastry on it and add way more adjuncts into it to make it more like a pie or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's adding lactose to everything now, just to kind of give it that extra texture and sugary sweet
works.
flavor. Yeah, those boys add a lot of sugar to a lot of things. New Image too. I mean, they're I think one of the better, if pastry stouts are your thing, they're definitely doing it better than a lot of people.
Awesome.
But yeah, just like it's funny to see all the different adjuncts that are in brew houses now. It used to just be like, we want to add cherries to this and make it a nice creek. It's like, no, we got a tub of marshmallow and we've got some fruity pebbles, and this is going to be the best-selling beer that we have all year.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, I made stouts when I was at my old job. We were making stouts. We were making some West Coast style IPAs.
At McDonald's or what? Where was
Yeah,
this, where was
McDonald's.
this previous job?
Yeah, the only McDonald's in the world that has a brewing license.
Yeah, that has a-
so,
yeah,
Glenwood,
They replaced.
that's got to be Detroit, right?
Yeah, it's just South Denver.
Sounds
Yeah,
very
South
They
Denver.
replaced all
yeah.
the play places with brew tanks.
Yeah, Littleton. It was Littleton. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you brewing before?
At Coors at AC Golden.
Oh, at Coors, okay.
Yeah, I grew up in that's where we moved to. That's where I lived as
Okay,
well.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what area?
Which one?
Like where in Littleton? I mean,
Like
Littleton's
Broadway Mineral.
Okay, yeah. So you were on the
What
other side.
address? Like what window
Yeah.
of your room?
How much was your parents' house?
Oh shit, man. Well, I think it's cool that you guys are like expanding and doing. I mean, you have so many barrels that it seems like it's easy enough to age whatever you want. Really.
Yeah, we have this was not barrel aged, but we've got plenty of barrels that are going on here. But we only have 4 7-barrel fermenters. So I mean that's nothing. That's when you think about it, it's really nothing. So it's just fun for us to do. It's a little side project, yeah. So we're not like fully going into these trying to blow the market out. All of our IPAs are in bottles. So what are we, like the last?
Yeah, you're really the last on the
in
horizon.
Colorado, the last brewery in Colorado that's got IPA in a bottle. I don't
Like
think
can
anybody else
shortage.
does.
What's that?
Yeah, I think everybody else is coming around to that at this point.
Yeah, we're bringing bottles back.
Yeah, everybody's just going to be reverting back to cork and cage 750s for even a pale ale. So this is the way it's supposed to be. Everybody's going back to
Yeah.
tradition now.
Going back to it. No, but nobody likes cans. Those are super inconvenient.
Yeah, overrated. Aluminum taste, yuck.
The logo on Stout Tribe looks a lot like the Tribe Called Quest logo. And judging by the names of your tanks, I feel like there's a reason for that.
Yeah, didn't you say that all the tanks have hip-hop names?
Yeah, I noticed that. I saw that. I walked down. I was like, Rakim, what? Okay, cool.
Yeah, what's the deal with your affiliation with hip-hop?
I'm a big fan of hip hop. So when we came to starting to name tanks, that's what we did it off of rappers and producers that I liked. So this beer was, Mike at Microphone, he's probably the king of coming up with music-inspired names.
Yeah.
Sure.
I believe he used to work in the music industry. So this one was a no-brainer. Stout Tribe, it was kind of the idea of, this was our first pastry stout, if you will. And so we wanted to name it like, hey, we're joining the club.
Yeah, we're in on the party now.
Collabed with Microphone. We're there. We're like the newest cool kid.
You got street cred now.
A little bit.
That
Just
takes a
little
lot.
bit.
So is it usually hip-hop that's playing here when you guys are brewing?
Usually, yeah. Definitely some other stuff too. But yeah, I mean, we listen to so much music here. We're kind of like we need something new. So it's not always hip hop, and there's some other stuff too.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. I mean, what's your favorite album? What's your favorite hip-hop album?
man, I could give my top 5.
Yeah, go top 5.
Top 5 favorite albums. I would say right now would be Illmatic. I would say.
It sounds like it's just.
I was gonna say top 5 MCs. I would say Jay-Z, Nas, Black Thought, and then I just really like Most and Tyler Potter.
Of course.
I've seen Black Star and the Roots, which is like crazy that I've seen those.
Yeah.
Pretty rare concerts.
I've seen the Roots like a couple. They toured so much like 8 years ago. They were at every festival. They were doing tons of live shows. But now they got this Kush gig late night.
Yeah.
How do you even finagle that? Like, how do you just like you're a very successful touring band, then you just wind up with this like amazing job?
Jimmy Fallon was a huge fan, I believe, and that's all it took. Where they, like,
If that's what it was like, man, God bless Jimmy Fallon. Every year he gets a Christmas present probably from the Roots.
Oh yeah. It's just Questlove's hair pick. It's probably gold or platinum. There you go.
Yeah, I figured.
But then they still work so hard. Like they're always doing other stuff. Like it's God love those guys.
Yeah, it's just strange that they're probably at a point in their career where they've already made enough money that they don't need to go on tour anymore. But that's got to be a hard sacrifice to make, where you're on tour all the time, and they're like, yeah, we're going to take this house gig that probably doesn't pay nearly what the other ones do.
Yeah, but it's probably you don't have to travel as much. You probably have family.
I don't think they like travel. Plus, with such a huge band, it's probably hard to get everybody to travel, like coordinate that. Because they're a 9-piece band technically.
We couldn't even get a 3-piece band together in high school unless there was weed involved.
Yeah.
So it's like, we just picked up a bag, and like, I'll be right over.
So this is batch 200. This was the 200th batch. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow! Man, you're real whiz with these beer names. So one thing I actually wanted to ask is what's important to you when it comes to a collab? I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. So how do you pick the people you want to do a collab with? And then what is it you're actually trying to achieve when you do one? Because one of my biggest disappointments with collabs sometimes is that I feel you don't really taste either brewery in it, and because it's not something they normally have on their brew schedule, it's not as good. Because they're like, we're just going to do this because it's a marketing thing. It's going to be a decent beer from both breweries, but I don't feel like I get an influence from either one. Like, what are you trying to achieve?
I think it could be a little bit of all those. I think I bet you could make the argument that we've done both ranges for that. Beers that it really does showcase both breweries. We do a lot of collaborations with Side Project out of St. Louis, where we use each other's yeast cultures in our beers, and I think you can definitely taste Corey's influence in the blend, and then ours as well. So that's, I would say, is one end of it.
That's very kind of you. We just met today, and you feel like I influenced the beers that we've made already. That's really nice. I like that.
And then, there are ones where, like this one, Stout Tribe, we didn't really know that much about making these types of pastry stouts.
Yeah.
And so we learned so much from him in that sense, and he was really gracious to do that with us, that we got to learn a lot from him. Yeah. And it's just fun to hang out with people. I love doing collabs because you can sometimes just pick up, like, here's a way you can hang your fittings and your tri-clamps and stuff, just like different things that you wouldn't think of, but by going and visiting and seeing the in-depth behind the scenes at that brewery, you just pick up a little thing here and there. Here's a really good squeegee. I mean, we as brewers squeegee a lot. Well, I used to squeegee a lot, not so much anymore. But the other people have a really nice squeegee that I might have picked up from somebody else.
Yeah. This is the most excited I've seen somebody with a squeegee since the guy tried to wash my windshield off of Federal.
There you go. It's cathartic for me. Like, I'll still, even if I know that my team's going to be able to handle it, I'm like, I want to get on that squeegee action. And here's how you use a squeegee. It's like this.
You're like, oh, it was here, and now it's gone.
But collabs it's just a fun way to also just see people that you really enjoy spending time with. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you're learning a lot too, but as a part of it, like, you're not going to do a collab with somebody that's a dick, right?
Absolutely.
That's got to be a huge marketing boost in order for you to just deal with some asshole.
Yeah, I would like to think that we've never done it for marketing. We've done it with people that I might not know, like, right away, but some of my team knows. And so we get to learn and meet people like that. And so we've always done it with people we respect and we want to hang out with, and that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, that's good.
If you were going to collab with any... actually, first, before I say anything else, do you say collab or do you say collab?
I would say collab.
Okay. It's very popular for people to say collab, and this is the first time I've ever heard of it.
The right way? You've ever heard of the right way?
I think it's a Colorado thing. I think there's a lot of places that, like, in a weird way, like, abbreviate. I worked at a store.
I hate it. I don't like it.
Colorado Laboratories.
Yeah.
Was what it was short for. But
it's also the name of the planet that Mormons go to heaven to. So that's why I got, like, really confused.
Is it really?
Yeah. Well, I think it's Kolob specifically.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows. This is why nobody gets. This is also why nobody gets my comedy, because I just do Mormon shit.
And they're not at breweries.
No, they're not at all. Unless they're sneaking out of the house and they just need to chug an 8%er really quick.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what did you open for the 200? Like, what is it? I assume it's a hazy, but like,
It is.
What's different about this than the one that we just had?
It's got different hops. And so this is an IPA,
edgy.
Yeah,
Nice.
different hops. This one's got Galaxy, Citra, and Simcoe. So we always like these IPAs that we make. I really let Eric, our production manager, kind of handle the recipes and figure out how to tweak it how he wants. And I kind of just help from the sidelines, if you will. So we probably changed up the malt on this one a little bit, and then trying different hops. We've got a lot of friends in the industry that are much bigger than us, and they get to do hop selection. Are you guys familiar with hop selection?
Yeah.
So they get to go out there.
Time.
Yeah,
Give
exactly.
them a rub down, get a sniff in.
Yeah, so they get to go out, they do all that, they get to pick what they want because they're buying in so much. We're way too small, we couldn't do that. And so, but by having these friends, these connections we made, kind of gangster, kind of mafia, like you were talking
Very
about.
much so.
Yeah.
You break me off a corner of this hot bale?
Yeah, exactly. That we get some of theirs as well. So it's fun to play around and just try something different. So it's a 200th batch. We needed a new brand. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Now, since you guys are based in Glenwood Springs, do you guys have I should preface it this way. Do you use a cool ship here?
We do have a cool ship.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So how did you acquire that, and why did you want to go open fermentation not open fermentation, but inoculation as opposed to doing it some other way? Like, why the spontaneous fermentation?
So that's only a fraction of the production that we do here. So every beer, next one we'll actually open up one of our mainstays, one of our farmhouse sour beers. But the majority of the beer we make is with our house culture. So it's a pitched yeast culture. It's not spontaneous, and not everything. We're really just playing around with the spontaneous stuff. So we haven't released a single drop of that beer yet, and we might never. I don't know if it's going to taste like we would want it to, but we wanted to try it. We were inspired on a trip to Belgium.
It's usually how it works.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been to Belgium before, and it wasn't like I'm going to come back and make a cool ship, because I just didn't think it could be done.
Sure.
But I tried some amazing spontaneous beer from the Vale in Richmond, Virginia, I believe. And I was like, okay, maybe we should try this, because I've always known Allagash makes amazing spontaneous.
Yeah, they're
beers.
one of the best in the country, the world, really.
But I had never really tried it really good any outside of that. And so I was like, let's try it, and if we can make it as good as they are or Allagash is, we'll release it. But if not, it'll never see.
Their cool ship is amazing because it's in this rustic little cabin that they have on the back of the brewery. It's so Maine. It's just very quintessential Maine, and I just find that I love it so
Just
much.
lobsters everywhere.
Yeah, they put lobsters right in the cool ship,
They're made out of
and then they
clam
serve them for dinner later.
Should have joke about that. That could become a thing.
Well, that was actually what I was leading up to. Since this is kind of one of the hot springs capitals of the state, have you guys entertained the idea of turning the cool ship into a hot spring, just a little hot tub action?
Get
some extra funk.
We haven't got to that level of marketing yet. That sounds like something some other brewers would
I feel like you could capitalize. I think you're missing out on an opportunity. People know this place. You're like, yeah, we've got an extra. Just Airbnb it out. Just like, yeah, we got an extra.
I've learned
hot
to
tub.
never say never. So.
Let me come soak in the tub for a little bit. Have some little Steve around everywhere. Our friend Christy Buckley, former podcast guest, came up to Glenwood because she's bored to death, and she's getting drunk. So that's a
Everything's shut down, eh?
Yeah, there's not much to do. So then we just book podcasts in random places and go have fun with those people.
Have crazy adventures in the snow. It's nice though. It's real nice. It was a nice drive, minus the closure.
Actually, Steve, I don't want to deviate too far away from the music conversation. Do you remember what was your first hip hop album?
Oh boy.
Mine was Beastie Boys' "License to Ill." Was the first one that I read.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. I honestly can't think because it was just a lot of mixes. Because I got real into
Summer Mix 2005.
Yeah, Summer Mix 2005.
It was just me and my CD burner just sitting in our basement putting tunes together that everybody would love.
It was some weird stuff. I got really into Common Market when they were a thing. That was a long time ago. They were underground stuff.
Common Market? That sounds like a Christian hip hop band.
No. I mean,
it's definitely Christian because I said it was a hip hop band.
Yeah. Still, I mean, have you ever listened? My favorite album, hip hop album.
Hey there, Satan. What you gonna do?
I still. What you gonna do when we come for you?
Oh, that's catchy. You should go forward.
Yeah, that's a brand new beat that nobody's ever done before. That's a cadence that's pretty prolific.
Praise him, what? Praise him, yeah. Praise him, what? There's some weird, what's that? I'd be like, ooh, you know that song?
Ooh,
I actually saw that on Instagram. I heard that song today on Instagram.
Really?
I swear to God.
That's a Christian song. That guy's like a Christian rapper.
Really?
Yeah.
Too short, right?
Yeah. Blowjob Betty, dude.
I think that's too short. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being in 5th grade, and I was the only kid walking around with like a Beastie Boys T-shirt. They didn't sell kid sizes, obviously, so I got a Beastie Boys tee for my birthday that went all the way down to my knees, and I just thought I was the coolest guy in the entire school.
I had that same shirt, but it was either Offspring or a Green Day shirt. That was just
that's
way
like,
oversized.
at that time, I was like into like Green Day, and I was really into like No Doubt and shit. But my favorite hip hop album, and we talked about this in the 10 Barrel episode. My favorite hip hop album of all time is Black Rock. You've ever heard that one?
I don't know.
The Black Keys did a hip hop album 15 years ago, and it is incredible. And they have like Rizzo plays guitar on it.
Okay.
Mos Def is on it.
Okay.
It's fantastic. So to this day,
Black Rock, you said.
Black Rock.
Got it.
BLAKROC.
You know what Troy's listening to later? Checking it out.
I got a really good gardening podcast on the way home I was going to listen to, but maybe I'll listen to that.
Yeah, you might have to change it up.
Yeah, maybe we should be doing a garden.
Yeah, dude, we've been doing this wrong the whole time.
Okay, my first hip hop
A gardening and hip hop
Host.
podcast called Turn Up the Beat. Boom.
But here's the thing. You know what? You should spell beat. B-E-E-T.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nailed the joke.
This is next level.
No, my first hip
I
hop
love
album.
you got so excited. You like put your hand up, like pick me. This isn't a town hall meeting, dude. This is your podcast. Just say.
Puff Daddy, no way. Puff Daddy and
I remember that album was
no
so
way.
good.
I bought it in Canada.
Nobody take my pride.
And I probably bought it for like $30 Canadian, and I was able to buy it without
So like
having
$1
to.
American.
That was still probably $20 American.
The
And,
Looney was strong, okay?
But my parents didn't require approval. I just bought it and I got to listen to it. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's so sick.
Yeah, my parents were wary about anything with like a language thing on like a language warning, which is probably why I fucking swear so goddamn much now.
Yeah.
Like it's just words, you know what I mean? It's like I couldn't hear the word shit when I was 13. Come on.
Yeah,
Now I say it all the time.
The same reason why you're so violent now is all the video games you played when you were a kid.
Yeah, dude.
He's an angry man.
Yeah, I killed 7 cops on the drive up. I only got to 2 stars, but we're doing all right.
In middle school, I asked my mom to buy Jay-Z, what is it, My Life in Times, Volume 2, I think.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, I'll buy that for you, but I'm going to listen to it. And I was like, okay. And she listened to it, and if you know that album, there's some raunchy things in there.
Yeah, there's some dirty stuff.
But she let me listen to it. I like that album a lot.
I guess Snoop Dogg is upset about WAP. He's like, this song's too dirty. And it's like, dude, Snoop, have you
He's
heard
old now.
anything in
He's
fucking
old.
His first album was called, I mean, we all know, Doggy Style. It's
Yeah,
like, come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
Snoop.
I would say probably my first hip hop album that I like really got into was the original Chronic.
Ooh, what if they did a Jehovah's Witness cover of the Snoop Dogg album and just called it Missionary? Right, that one landed flat. But you know what? That's how jokes work.
You threw me off when you said Jehovah's Witness. I thought we were sticking to the Mormon theme there.
I wanted to mix it up a little bit, but I probably should have just stuck with the Mormon thing.
Got to stick to one religion, maybe.
I didn't know that they were that different. Whoa, okay, I'm learning a lot today.
People ask me all the time. They're like, "So you don't celebrate birthdays?" I'm like, "Fuck, no, that's not us. That's not the one that." Whatever. People just don't know, and it's okay. I don't really want to know either.
I don't ever.
I haven't been on that train in a minute.
If they
so.
show up at my house, I'm not letting it in, especially COVID times. You know.
Well, they don't come to your house anymore. They send you letters.
A nice handwritten letter. That's a very Canadian thing to do.
I mean, it's just a nice person.
It's just a nice person. I remember, so after Beastie Boys, I got the edited version, the edited DMX out, like one of DMX's albums. I forget which one. It was the one where I got blood on my dick because I fucked a corpse. And the edited version of a DMX album is almost just as enjoyable because of how comical it is. There's so many dog
Every
names.
other,
There's so
every
many
other
barks.
word would be bleeped out.
Yeah, it basically just sounds like a kennel. Like the entire album is basically just like, is that a Boston Terrier? Like what? They just ran out of dog noises for all the swear words they were beeping out.
I want to hear a joke, But
Oh yeah, because we normally do the chug and then the joke. But Troy's backing out today, which is totally fine. We
he's
understand.
got to be a responsible father.
Yeah. So that means he's going to tell us a good dad joke.
I'll chug the beer if you want.
Yeah, chug the sour.
Yeah. Do you want to? Do you want a proxy? Can Steve be your
Yeah,
proxy?
he can be mine. You can proxy. Chug the. It's like 4 ounces of peach funky blender. So this is one of our sour beers, and it'll be probably especially sour after drinking all these hazy IPAs. But it's made with local organic peaches from Palisade. It's 100% Colorado ingredient beer. And that's definitely the one I would like you to chug for me.
Yeah.
Perfect,
What's
because
the
Steve
ABV?
did not like sour beers.
What's the
So this is
ABV?
actually.
I like some. Let me get a whip.
You know, notice how I'm
Oh,
very
God.
defensive about that. It's like, yeah, I do. I like them. I like sour stuff.
It's going to be pretty acidic, I think.
It is.
What's the ABV on this? How?
Like 6.
Fuck.
Yeah, Steve, give us a little beer review. How about we do that instead? So give us a sniff. Tell us what you sniff.
I smell.
Tell us what you smell.
I smell heartburn. That's what I smell. I smell having a hard time sleeping and maybe throwing up on the ride home.
Are there Tums in this beer? That could be the next pastry stout. That you should
It's
look
not as
into.
sour as some breweries make
So
sour.
hold on,
beer.
we
It's not as
gotta.
sour.
I'll get the timer going for you. This is the first time I actually have had to time anybody. So, so Steve, do us a favor. We're doing a little switch up on the show. After you're done chugging the beer, tell us what you think. Give us a couple tasting notes, maybe a food pairing if you could.
Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and pair it with peaches.
And feel free to roast him while this is happening because I'm gonna be distracted with the timer. Okay?
You think I'm gonna be that quick chugging this?
I think you're gonna take a minute, dude.
A minute.
Yeah, I know you're not a very good chugger to begin with, let alone having a sour beer.
All right. This is the.
Let's see what Troy's roasting capability is.
I got one. I've come up with one. That's it. I think this is it.
All right. To the end of the world.
Yeah.
The peaches were the same color as your hat.
Whoa! Yeah. Not bad for 4 ounces of beer. And good burn.
Nailed it.
Killer
Roasting.
burn.
Boom.
Boom. Got his ass.
I'm so sorry for that joke. I know that was.
Oh my god, that's
middle-
back out now. That's not how a roast works.
Let's be honest. I was really just thinking about how I'm glad I'm still alive because I drank that. I did not hear it.
Tasting notes, right? Is that what we said?
Yeah, give us a few.
Honestly, that is like the. It's really not very sour at all. It's like a.
You don't have to
in the
insult me,
middle.
man.
No, that's
it's
fine.
Like,
That's
no,
we
it's
like
like
that.
Yeah.
it's extremely smooth. Honestly, like that was an extremely chuggable.
It's
beer.
not like take the paint off your car
Exactly.
kind of acidic, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, not at all. It was delicious.
You got a food
I
pairing
couldn't
for that?
taste some more. Honestly, maybe like a linguine. Like a nice linguine.
You talking
What color
like fresh?
sauce? What color sauce?
White sauce.
White sauce. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's not an idiot.
What-
You got white sauce
What are
with a peach sour beer. Everybody knows that, Troy. That's a good one. Is it leftover linguine or is it fresh?
It's gotta be fresh. I'm not.
Fresh?
Who has leftover linguine? It's
Yeah,
so
dude.
good you eat it all.
Yeah. Italian food is kind of my crux. It's my weakness in terms of like I know it tastes delicious, but if I eat it at all, I feel absolutely terrible
Sure.
about myself and my life decisions, mental health, financial state.
That's what you get for making fun
everything.
of Italians over the years. Doing that accent.
Yeah. Do you have a food that like just ruins you, but you love it? Taco Bell, Wendy's.
I mean,
Wings.
it's Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Yeah, Chipotle.
There's no Chipotle. The closest Chipotle up here is in Summit County. I think what's
Silverthorne.
Silverthorne. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So-
really got to be fiending for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I moved into an apartment in 2008 based on the location.
The
of,
proximity to Chipotle?
Yeah, it was walking distance. I think I ate like 3 times a week at Chipotle for sure.
It's just too easy.
I used to
It's so
like
good.
it.
It's too easy.
But as I age, it definitely like fucks me up more on the insides.
It's just is way too much. Like now it's all like street tacos. Like there's so many great taquerias around here. It's like street tacos. Just get 3 street tacos. You're still a little hungry afterwards, but you don't need all the rice and beans.
Yeah.
Street tacos, cilantro, onion, a great salsa.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pretty dynamite.
Pretty dynamite indeed.
All right, Steve, do you want your time first or do you want the joke first?
I can see my time.
I know you can see the time, but that's not how a podcast works. We have to say it into the microphone.
Is this your first podcast?
Well, as far as
Troy, you're on the show from now on.
Troy, I'm brewing beer from now on. Try this linguine sour.
Don't joke about that. Wellworks might do that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Have they
There's
already done
nothing-
that? They've
There's
probably
nothing they
already
won't
done
do,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
spaghetti sour.
No, I think they really legit.
I've seen ramen beers. I know ramen beers are a thing.
Yeah, you just pour
Everybody
the
knows
chicken
that.
powder into it and just see how it turns out.
You know what I think would be that? Put that on popcorn. I just had this doesn't matter. This
The
is not-
chicken powder?
Yeah, on the popcorn. Probably it's like salty. It's probably fucking great. I'm not even high for this episode. This is the rarity of me like.
So now you just see how your mind just wandering.
Oh god! I used to put you put the mac and cheese powder on popcorn.
You know what's really good is like Cajun spice on popcorn.
Ooh.
Like Old Bay, or what are you talking?
Like
Slap your mama.
you guys know more about Cajun spice than I do.
Tell us the specific spice.
The one I bought at Whole Foods. No, like what? I can't think of it.
It's okay.
Yeah, but any Cajun spice that has salt in it,
Pour a bunch
it's really
of
good.
cumin on popcorn.
All of a sudden, I got a bunch of Cajun spice experts in here. Okay, sorry about that.
You didn't know who you were fucking with,
Joe Mariah beer here soon.
All right, Steve came in at 5.11 seconds.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. Not bad.
good
I mean, it's not
for-
going to go
for
on
4
the
ounces.
leaderboard because it was 4 ounces,
Yeah,
but that's a pretty good proxy for filling in
I
for
decided
somebody.
myself.
Yeah.
I accomplished something today.
Yeah, we should all be happy with what happened here today.
Wait till you won't be once you hear my joke.
No, let's.
We're ready. No, we're ready.
Let's hear it.
Don't tell us about how bad it is up front. We'll decide.
Okay, what did one olive say to the other olive?
All of you.
Fucking ruin the joke.
Ah!
Can't even say my own joke?
Way to step on his punchline.
That's what you get for asking questions. You should never ask questions in comedy.
That's a rule of comedy. You don't ask questions.
Is that
if
true?
You don't want to answer.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't follow it, but if you if you ask the audience a question, you're opening them up to answer. You know what
Got
I
it.
mean? Like it's
Because everybody's rude, apparently. I would never respond because I don't want to be put
But
in
it's
the
actually, it's
spot.
not even rude. It's just you
Well,
ask
this
the
was
question.
rude. This was rude.
It's
Yeah,
almost
this was very rude. Steve.
You asked a question in private conversation. I feel like it would have been rude for me to not answer.
No, I think you're pretty on the mark. Steve's a piece of shit. And I
My
don't
4-year-old
like-
knows. When I say like a knock, like a what, like ask him a question, he's like, what? So even he knows. Shit.
Yeah, man, way to heckle our guest.
Get off the stage. The point is comedy is hard. That's the point.
Just start-
At least it took the heat off of me for with that amazing
At some
joke.
point during the show, if you're just saying something real nerdy, I'm just gonna go boo.
Wait till you see the check for all these beers.
Oh no! And that's
Spelled
gonna
with
do
a
it.
Z, right? Spelled with a Z.
That's gonna do it for this episode. Rotating.
And we
Top
will see you
Podcast.
soon, Denver.
Oh man, this would be the first time I dined and dashed since Cape Cod. Boy, that was good times. Worst place to dine and dash, by the way, because it's a very tiny island, and we were stuck there for another 3 hours. There's only 3 streets on the whole place. This was when I was like maybe 13 or 14, and we just thought it would be fun and spontaneous to do. And we run out, and then we realized, fuck, we're here for like another 3 hours. There's only 3 streets on this entire island. We just had to avoid one of them.
You're gonna pay for that bisque, motherfucker.
I'm gonna go back to Cape Cod now, and I'm gonna have like a wanted poster.
What did your parents decide to do after you guys all dined and dashed?
Oh, they didn't. Yeah, it's my parents were there. It was their idea. Hey, we need to save this for tithing money. So
Christmas isn't gonna come if we don't get the fuck out of here right now.
to have another bite of that grilled cheese, we gotta bounce.
Stick some napkins in your pocket for later.
Quick, grab a salt shaker.
It's totally something like my grandparents would do, is like take napkins from every restaurant so they wouldn't have to pay for them. Fucking Dutch people.
Smart. I think it's a classy
Practical.
move. Yeah, they don't need the napkins.
Yeah.
Have you ever dined and dashed?
Never done.
Never done it?
I also know.
Oh, you're so wholesome.
I got some free donuts. I went to Krispy Kreme the other day, and they gave us free donuts.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty
I
nice.
felt like a badass not paying. So that's pretty cool, huh?
Like you handed the box back and you're like, all right, can you pretend like you weren't going to give this to me? And then I'm going to snatch it out of your hand and we're going to run out of the building?
I think the guy felt bad because we only had a few donuts. Usually they sell them by like the dozens.
Question. Is the sour... Am I drinking the same thing that you guys are
Yeah.
drinking? Because the cloudiness on like your guys' glasses
Oh,
is-
that's the hazy IPA. You
Oh,
already
okay,
drank it.
sorry.
You
Oh, yeah,
chugged
you
the
already
sour.
chugged it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and so yeah, you're drinking the peach funky blender.
Mhm.
It really was good. I'm gonna go ahead and You want to pour me some more?
Absolutely. Do you guys want to try some? Let's try some of them.
The best.
I really like that beer. No.
Now, you come from a long line of lager people, if I will. So what inspired you to why don't you do that more?
So yeah, my dad, who's been in the industry my whole life, he was his specialty was basically making like mass-produced lagers, like Bud or Coors,
right.
Or Miller, taste the same from all the different locations it was brewed throughout the country, or even the world.
Yeah.
And so that was his thing. He was never really a brewer per se, but he was a brewing scientist. So he like told the brewers what to do to make the beers taste
consistent.
The same. Yeah, exactly. That's the name of the game, right? An American light lager. And so when I went to Coors, started brewing, I fell in love with creating recipes. And we did a lot of lagers, like authentic German-style lagers, and so we won a lot of awards at the Great American Beer Festival and the World Beer Cups, I think, with some of our lager recipes. And but I just kind of got tired of brewing by the numbers, always trying to make the same thing consistently. Like I mean, those, don't get me wrong, those are the beers I like to drink at home now too. But at the time, it just wasn't really doing it for me, and I fell in love with making sour beers because there's so much magic in it. You can put the same liquid into a barrel and have something completely different if both barrels come out.
Sure.
And so there's really magic there. It always keeps you excited. We work a lot with local farmers. Last year in 2019, in the summer of 2019, we went through 50,000 pounds of Colorado fruit. And so it's always fun to talk with the farmers. Every year, our ingredients are a little bit different, and we have to learn how to make really good beer with that. We're always experimenting with our yeast cocktail, if you will, to try to make the best thing we possibly can.
Man, you really rebelled. You were like, fuck this consistency.
I
need something that's
180 from what my dad spent his whole life doing. That you couldn't go any further away unless you probably did spontaneous, but we're pretty much at the end of that spectrum.
How much advice does he pass down to you, right? Like if you're in the industry, right? I feel like if my dad was a comedian, which he's very much not, but if he was, he probably would have some.
Neither is his son, to be fair.
Let me ask you this: do you think like some of the famous comedians in the world? I bet you their kids are like, my dad's not funny. Do you think they are? I think any kid would be like, my dad's not funny.
They're probably just sick of it.
Probably
They're just sick
short
of
of name one.
They're just sick of people running jokes by them like literally all the time.
It's like, you're not funny. Like, oh my god, you're embarrassing me right now. No, he's giving me a lot of advice. Like, especially when I first was learning about brewing.
Like, don't do it.
Well, he never told me to. One day I came to my dad and was like, Dad, I think I could use my science degree I'm getting right now in college, to be a brewer. And he was like, yeah, you definitely could, and let me show you. But like, he never pushed it on me. My mom's Baptist, and so she'll drink beer. She'll drink like half of Coors Light. Maybe, getting crazy, she might finish that Coors Light that night. You know how it is.
Southern Baptist? Southern Baptist or just regular Baptist?
No, regular Baptist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just imagined the family showing up to a gay wedding, having a good
No, we're good. We're different than that.
We're different.
So we gotta stop these religious things. Let me politics. Let's get into politics. Let's not talk religion. Come on. So like, it was never pushed on me, and that wasn't because my mom didn't want me to do it or anything. It was just like my parents were just figure it out yourself if that's what you want to do. But once I did learn that's what I wanted to do, my dad was really helpful. I learned so much from him. Less so when I started doing this aspect of it because it's so different. But we've had many problems with fermentations. We've had problems with bottle conditioning where the yeast won't ferment in the bottle to make the carbonation. We do 100% bottle conditioning of our sour beers. And so I've talked to my dad a lot about that, how to make the yeast happy, right? My dad is famous for writing about why yeast does what it does.
That's real Bob Ross of him.
Yeah.
How do we make happy yeast?
Totally, 100%. Yeah, and he's written books on it. And so we were, troubleshooting through that. And so, my dad's not going to help me make the best type of acid, what type of organisms I should use to make a really flavorful acid.
You guys make LSD here? That's tight.
I knew I liked you.
After the
a lot of books.
And but like learning on how to make that yeast happy to get that carbonation for sure, things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a question from Brandon from New Image that he wanted to ask you, and he basically wanted to know, do you feel like you guys are a legacy brewery family? Because he worked in the beer biz, had a big influence on that, and then you're doing your thing here. Like, do do you want this to kind of continue on as like
He's
a
got to
family
go pick
deal?
up his son from school to teach him how to make beer.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself like a legacy brewing family in Colorado, or you want?
Oh,
that to
I think
continue?
that would be incredibly arrogant if I said yes to that.
Yeah.
I think you know.
Go ahead, be arrogant.
We are what we are. You know, my dad was in it. It's not like I'm the second generation of Casey Brewing. It's I'm the second brewing scientist in our family, and I go back and forth if this is something that you know I would want my kids to be involved with. It's you know you guys are hustlers too, and just like
Goddamn right, I am.
and just like being a small business owner, it's very stressful.
Yeah.
And it's very it's different, and so I don't know. I go back and forth. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to get my kid in here processing fruit as soon as we possibly can, and try. If he wants to do it, it's going to be because he really wants to, and not because I forced him to. Because I'll have been forced him his entire whenever he can legally work. And
Yeah.
so.
It's a better chores list for
How
sure.
disappointed are you going to be if your kid wants to be a comedian when he grows up?
Well, that's one of the things. Like every night, my wife says prayers to our sons, and one of the things she says is that you'll be funnier than dad. That she prays that the kids will be funnier than dad.
Sometimes you get what you ask for.
I know you set a pretty high bar.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh.
I thought you were going to take that peach hat because you were a little embarrassed.
Throw it into a
By my
fermenter. See what
bird.
happens. Well, actually, speaking of peeling fruit, processing it, all that jazz. Now that you're moving into the pastry stout realm, what is something that you really want to brew with that you haven't yet?
So we don't have a pasteurizing unit. So as you guys obviously know, when you make these pastry stouts, there's a lot of sugar left. There's a lot of opportunities for something to go wrong if you infect the beer after fermentation. And so we don't have that, and probably never will. We're just too small to probably justify that. So there's a lot of different ingredients that we might not be able to use. What we are experimenting a little bit more with this year is non-local fruits, not for the pastry stouts, but for the sours.
Sure.
So we, when we first started, we were only using Colorado fruit, and we kind of delved away from that for various issues. Like it's really hard to find local raspberries in
I mean,
Colorado.
the same reason why you don't necessarily, you wouldn't just use Colorado hops just for the sake of doing it, right? Like at the end of the day, you still want it to be a quality
Sure.
product, and sometimes you just need to get ingredients from other places.
Yeah, they just not those really. I mean, the hops that are going to Colorado are great, and we use a lot of them. But the some of those different citrusy flavors you can't find in the state, and that's just the
I hear
reality.
Durango has great pineapples. Really good pineapples.
Is it a big pineapple district of the
Yeah,
state?
it's the capital, pineapple capital of.
Must be Dave from Scott.
Of Southwest Colorado.
So,
Pineapple-
yeah. Greeley also pretty good pineapples.
You mentioned raspberry specifically. Is that kind of leaning into the beer that you just poured for us?
Yeah, so this is two of the three fruits in this are from out of the state. So this has raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. So,
Casey Family Preserves is the name of the beer.
yeah, so this is a saison is our base beer for this, and then this is about 4 pounds per gallon of those three fruits total. And so it's got the raspberries and the blueberries come from the Pacific Northwest, and then the blackberries come from Paonia, or Hotchkiss, Colorado. So like Paonia and Hotchkiss right next to each other, about an hour and a half away from here. We buy every single pound that grower makes, which can be like 4,000 or 5,000 pounds a year. So that's a fun partnership to get the local fruit, and that's very fresh and super flavorful.
It's delicious,
Yeah, it's
and
very
so
good.
is the peach one too. And one of the things that I'm noticing is that, yeah, it doesn't have that stripping paint acidity to it. And that's beautiful to me because you want everything to show up together as opposed to the acidity or the yeast strain just kind of hijacking the beer. And that's one of my biggest problems with breweries that make saisons, and that's not really their deal, is that and Brett and a few other strains. They're so hard to corral and just have it be an influence instead of it being the whole beer.
For sure.
So, I mean, how do you try to make that happen? Like in terms of making all of the flavors kind of show up together and nothing overpowering the other.
Yeah, I think that starts in the brew house. So we try to design a recipe that is going to have a little bit of hop bitterness to it that will control the acid-producing yeasts and bacteria that we use.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start with a base beer that's not super acidic.
Yeah.
And then by adding, like with our preserve level beers, we've got several different preserve level beers. Those are always around 4, maybe even 5 pounds per gallon of fruit, which is tons. And so in these beers, we're really trying to let the fruit shine. But like with that Funky Blender Peach, That's around 2 pounds per gallon of the fruit. We're looking for balance between the fruit and the base beer that we're making.
Yeah.
Sure.
So is the stuff you do here, would a decent amount of it be method traditional, or is it still just like mostly that saison kind of? Is it mostly like a saison base? Is that a lot of?
100%. Yeah. Of these sour beers that we do, if I don't like to I would call them farmhouse or farmhouse style.
Sure. Okay.
But they're all tart, right? And so we don't do it. We've never brewed a method traditional beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. It's just what do you think certain breweries, you don't have to call anybody out, but like, what's one of your biggest pet peeves when it comes to people making sours or making saisons that you just don't think they do very well?
I would just say releasing it in the first place.
Just dump that shit. Can I get a little
You got a list of
Which one?
breweries?
a little bit more of the
Yeah, for
reserve.
sure.
Thank you.
It's like when we first started, I think I bought
The color on this thing is crazy too. By the way,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
I bought 60 oak barrels when we first started, and the first beers that we aged, we had 20 to taste from a couple months after we brewed them, and so we were blending with what we had. And as we grew, it was legit. The only reason we grew was so we had more options to choose from, so that if something did go bad, we could just dump it.
Yeah.
And then we got more, we started packaging more so that we would only sell the beers when they were totally ready to go after bottle conditioning. And so it just grew naturally from wanting to put out the best product possible. So if you're a brewery that maybe has 6 barrels in their cold room, and your owner's like, okay, let's sell them, you don't really have much to choose from, and you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be my biggest pet peeve, is there something like that shouldn't have been released, and that's not a luxury that everybody has, but they should, because it's just not going to help your brand in the future.
How often do you guys dump beer?
A lot, often, yeah.
It's interesting because I do see I saw Wiley Roots dumping a beer a couple weeks ago, and everybody was like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, if it's not good, like why? I don't want to drink a shitty beer.
Because people are shills, man.
Yeah.
Because they're just gonna drink stuff.
Depending on it was in the group that Corey and I openly hate on Facebook.
Colorado Let's Talk Beer.
Yeah,
that place is trash.
Yeah.
But I think if a brewery has enough credit, they can still get away with releasing something, and people are just gonna buy it because of the street cred. And I mean, from a moral standpoint, obviously it sucks, but I don't know what you can really do about that if people are just gonna be plebes, and just buy whatever the hell. Yeah, put them on speakerphone.
Yeah. No, I got time. Yeah, I can talk.
Yeah,
I do need new car insurance. Yeah,
wow, what a perfect time.
and that's unfortunate, because you can only get by with that so long, because you're only the new hot brewer on the block for so long until somebody else comes around, and so you have to maintain your customer loyalty. You have to always put out the best product, in my opinion.
It's like comedy too.
Yeah.
You gotta keep on fucking.
There's
putting
some people that just tour on the same hour for like 20 years, though.
Fuck, some of them don't even have an hour. Some of them have 10 minutes.
Just keep it around for a really long time.
Over and over. And those are the most vocal about freedom of speech.
Yep, very true.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the reason we do this podcast is because there's so many similarities, like parallels between the two industries.
Cool. Yeah.
And there's people that will keep telling their shitty joke over and over and over. And people, I guess, consume it, but...
And I guess that actually poses a question for you, because, I mean, if you guys... I think it seems like the thing you take the most pride in is this delicate sour program that you guys have, where it is very well balanced and it's unique and very niche. Is there any part of you that feels like you're brewing a lot of hazy IPAs just because that's what people want and it's not necessarily what you want to do? I mean, I know you said that you like hazies as well, but are you brewing to the masses, or?
I'd say, I don't think you could make an argument. Like I said, we like these beers that we make, but yeah, there was definitely business reasons that we started to make them, for sure. The biggest one was opening up a tap room downtown.
Yeah.
We wanted to be able to supply that, because that's what people want. They don't just want sours. And that's just the way that it was going. Customers want to drink a little bit of everything when they go to a brewery.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
I was just wondering, because you guys are down there now, and I'm sure you've been here for a while, you ever been to that vaudeville place and seen the weird organ thing?
I've never been to the vaudeville.
Oh,
my parents love it when they come up here, and we've got some friends that love it too, for sure.
I've heard a rumor that the guy is like only plays the organ on rare occasion, and anytime I've been there, he plays that weird like Mary Poppins type.
Well, we should try to book a comedy show up here whenever. that gets back going again.
Yeah, comedy.
So check out the vaudeville.
Were you guys able to work at all this summer? Like,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we had a lot. We actually, because we were in the live shows too, and
Okay.
then we had 25 live shows over the period of like 4 or 5 months.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was
Lot
nice.
of
It was great to work with the breweries that we're really tight with too, and give them an opportunity to. That was the reason we always did it in the first place. Was we have a packed room on like a Wednesday night, right?
Awesome.
But in summertime, when obviously capacities are limited and people aren't out as much, it was nice to be able to kind of do that as well.
Yeah.
And it's like the busiest night of the week for them.
Awesome. So like the vaudeville they had on the sign, it was like, we got a lot of COVID jokes on our new show. So were you guys doing a lot of COVID humor?
It was up or down. I think it just kind of depended on the show.
I feel like at first when people were like getting their rest off, they were all bombing no matter what, no matter how good the comic was. And then once people started like adjust to it, people were more open to the idea.
Got it.
But I think when comedy started back up originally, people were like, I don't want to hear about COVID.
Yeah.
That shit ruined my fucking life.
I don't know, dude.
I'm
my
going through a divorce because of COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about this.
I don't know. My QR code joke always slaps.
Let's hear it.
It's not. It doesn't work.
Chug a
like
beer
that.
Is there more? I don't want to interrupt.
Which one?
You're interrupting though.
Raspberry?
Yeah.
Yeah, pass it
We're
over.
just here to
It's so good.
drink some brews.
Well, this doesn't hit as hard in like mountain towns because people aren't doing it as much of a thing. But it's basically just 2020's been a crazy year. We thought QR codes were going to make a strong comeback. And see, that's about how well it should have landed.
Well, at every restaurant they do now, right?
Yeah.
Was that the joke that I just ruined? Okay, this has vanilla in it, so now we're getting into the pastry world
Oh, you're getting back into the pastry game.
of the sours. So this is with grapes, Merlot grapes from Palisade, and then blackberries from Hotchkiss, and then a bunch of vanilla as well.
So, one of the reasons that we wanted to come by and like talk to you is not only just because you're friends with some of our friends, but you have, what is it, I think 5 or 6 of the top 20 rated beers in the state.
Oh, sick! I didn't know that.
And so I guess that was kind of leading me into, do you pay any attention to what reviews are saying, or like Untapped, or
I'll look at, I always like to look at every once in a while on Untappd to see what like the best breweries are in the world, just to kind of I don't follow like beer websites anymore, like Beer Advocate or any of those. I try not to go to anymore because it's like it's not going to make me, like I don't read reviews at all.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so I just it's you could see 100 great reviews, but if you see one that's not good, it's just going to piss you off.
That's the
So-
thing with it, and another thing is like in comedy, it's like you can be crushing in a room full of 100 people, but the one guy sitting there with his arms crossed, not having a good time, is the one you're just like fucking focused.
and there's the
on.
one you're gonna think about like later.
Really?
And you're like,
Yeah.
I couldn't crack that. I couldn't crack that person.
Yeah, and so I don't do that too much, but I'll look around every once in a while, kind of get a gauge on like what people are really liking, and learn a little bit more about it from that.
Well,
just to
luckily
see.
for you, we've done some research.
Yeah. If you don't want to look at reviews, we did.
We
Oh,
did.
great.
We love the beer. We love the beer. That's everything I've had so far is absolutely great. But
Let me get another IPA.
let me prove you wrong.
Where's that West Coast at, by the way?
I think we're all on.
Son of a bitch. This is my game. I'm more of a West Coast guy. Steve's a hazy guy. But to be honest, I like the ones that you've given us so far. They don't have that like Epsom salt, magnesium, just kind of chalkiness
Okay,
to them,
cool.
which I really appreciate. And it seems like that's just a common thing with the style these days, where everybody just has like that extra. It's like extra thick and has that dusty kind of mouthfeel. If you know what I'm talking about.
I do, for sure, and so I do think some of our earlier IPAs that we were making, we just like in the last couple months, we tweaked a lot to try to get rid of that. We had a little bit of hop bite, like
Yeah.
hop burn,
Yeah.
and so we've done some things to try to get rid of that. And but yeah, some of our earlier ones were definitely not my favorite, and we've made some adjustments. So everything that we were just serving, I'm super proud of.
Without giving away some trade secrets, like what kind of things do you do to get rid of that? Because that's my biggest gripe with the style. I feel like once you reach a certain quality threshold, there's a class that exists above everybody else.
sure.
But because the style is so popular, everybody's making them. But then there's really no middle ground for me. It's either exceptional or it's just bland or not well done.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff do you do to minimize that?
The biggest thing that we did is we got rid of the fermentation, like the mid-fermentation hopping, right?
Okay.
So have you heard of this? Like, what is it? Biotransformation hopping, when you dry hop while the beer is actively fermenting.
Biodome? That's a great movie with Pauly Shore and one of the
I mean,
Balkans.
absolutely.
Sweets in the juice.
That's
heard
the
it.
that gardening podcast that I was going to listen to on the way home. It's about that movie, like just how much. It's not really real. You couldn't do that.
Yeah, we're gonna debunk this movie that Polly Shore was in.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser's a great actor.
Was he in that too, or do you think
Brendan
Encino
Fraser?
Man?
I am thinking of Encino Man. You're right.
Yeah,
They're the same plot.
I'm a Polly Shore expert, so I worship his every what's that office?
So wait,
Grew up
so
in the Comedy Store.
yeah, I mean, what are the kind of things do you do to like just minimize to make the beer cleaner? I guess, which is hard to do in hazy because
for sure.
I feel like there's just, you're leaving so much in there. You know.
So like the idea for you guys obviously know, but for those who might not, the idea of a biotransformation hop is that while the yeast is actually fermenting, it's got different enzymes that can cleave off different hop flavors. I'm sure any hop scientist just is laughing at me right now, but it's basically that. You're making a flavor that you can't get any other way. And so we started doing that, but I think by doing that, it leaves a lot of yeast in suspension still. And so it's really hard to crash that yeast out.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that I'll share that we did to try to get rid of that. So you can still get all the hop flavor we're looking for, but we kind of dropped that aspect, and in doing so, it made that hop bite a lot less, and that's what I like in the hazy.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Thank you.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, we like everything so far, but not everybody loves everything.
Hey, can you do me a favor and
Great
not say
segue.
what the beer is that they're talking about? Just read the comments, or you do have
And then
to
can you guess? How about that? How about I don't read the beer, I give you the rating and what they said, and you have to guess what it is.
Okay, I'll play that game.
Okay, great.
This is a rare TripAdvisor review.
So the reviewer is 70 years old?
Somebody from Cape Carter 15 from Dewey Beach, Delaware.
Of course. Up and coming spring break.
Good beer. We visited Casey's Tapper while making a pit stop at Webwood Springs. They had a lot of hot sours on tap, which personally I'm not a fan of, but was able to find something that I liked. Nice ambience to the place. We got there just in time as they maxed out on head count and had to turn people away. 3 stars.
For not letting us into your business.
Way to go, TripAdvisor.
Yeah, why are you keeping these TripAdvisor people out of your town?
I feel like
Went to
that person did all that, hit send, and what do they do? Just pat themselves on the back? Like,
Yeah, they feel like they did a community service today.
Now everybody from Dewey Beach, Delaware knows.
there you
Yeah,
go.
it's in the Dewey newsletter. That goes out occasionally.
Good. That's good.
Untapped review. Not going to read the name of the beer. This one's from Tony S. Way too thin. 3.25 stars on Untapped.
Oh, that's not bad. I'll take a 3.25.
Do you got a guess? What
Way
beer?
Too thin.
What's too thin? What's
Is
the
it
skinny bitch?
Is
in
it
the litter?
sour or is it a hoppy beer? You might not know.
Neither.
Water. It's
Oh,
water.
I don't know what. That would probably be this one, Star Trek.
Nope.
Oh, shit.
Do you really want to know?
Yeah. Yes.
Vanilla Americana.
Oh yeah, that beer. We're tweaking it. That beer.
He's like, yeah, you got a point. It was a little light.
Yeah, it was too thin for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what's the deal with that? Like, why was it?
When
like,
we brewed it, we were really happy with it. Don't get me wrong, but that was my biggest critique of that beer as well.
It's too light.
It just finished a little low. We wanted it to be a little bit sweeter. That was the first.
Especially for like a vanilla beer. Like,
Yeah, that was like the first 5% stout that we probably made on our system. So we don't have the luxury of brewing all the time when we do it, and so we were super proud of that beer. But yeah, this next blend that we're doing is going to be a lot sweeter for sure.
Yeah. By the way, this other sour that you poured us, or the other preserves, it tastes like jam.
Awesome.
Like it straight up just tastes like jam. It's great.
So what we're looking for in these, like I said, in these preserves beers. So I appreciate that.
But I like that it's not overly sweet. Because sometimes when you get into this camp, they just are so aggressively sweet. You know, the fact that it still has like that, doesn't have that sugary kind of taste to it, makes it a way better beer.
With blackberries specifically, they've got so many, a lot of berries too, but blackberries that we get from Hotchkiss, have so much sugar alcohols in them, so they're unfermentable, but they provide that body that is just phenomenal in my opinion, which is why we buy every pound we can get from those guys.
Nice.
And so I think that's a big part of it, is you get this unfermentable body that you can't get any other way.
This one's not too thin. She thick. This is a thick beer.
That's good.
All right, Sarah W. Sarah
All
W.
right, back to the review.
How many of these do you have?
A couple. Not a lot, and we know we got a hard out in
What's
a minute anyway, so.
428. Just
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we got a hard out in a second, so Steve-O, take it away.
Sarah W. says, the quote-unquote gentleman in charge, parentheses, Miami Dolphins mask, was awful. Should be in a small cubicle with a headset rather than in customer service. I don't think she understands that's what those people do. I asked for a table. He said we were at capacity. I was excited to try this brewery for the first time. So I asked if there was a wait list. He said nope. I asked if there was a way to get in line for a table tonight. He said
nope.
That was it. It was 3 hours before closing and no way to get a table. I found that hard to believe. He was just lazy and very bad at his job. Unfortunate for the brewery with their clout to have such an imbecile representing them. 1 star from 5 months ago at the peak of COVID times. The pinnacle of COVID.
So what idiot Miami Dolphins fan do you have running your tap room downtown?
That's Taylor. He's not an idiot. That's unfortunate that worked out, and I can imagine how busy he was and how tough that is. I mean, we're a small place. We don't our sales relative to a restaurant are super small.
Sure.
And so it's at that time we were probably that was a couple months after we were open we were able to open again. So so unfortunately that happened. But
that happens in any restaurant or bar, no matter what. That's good though. That's a good sign for you guys because you got everybody in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a rough season for any Dolphins fan, I think.
No, they're actually second.
I'm a Broncos fan. It's been a bad season too.
Yeah. But it's just one of the reasons we do this is because it just kind of highlights some of the the ego that people have. Where I'm it's literally the height of not the height, but we're going through a pandemic here. These people are doing the best that they can, and you still find the time to write a negative review about seating capacity or wait times or anything like that. It's just get over yourself.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough out there for all of us. Support your local breweries, your local restaurants. It's going to be a long winter for sure.
It's tough out there for a pimp. Troy, is there anything you would like to plug before we get out of here?
We're sending some beer to Denver this week, so I don't know how fast this thing is there. But
this will come out on Monday.
Awesome, yeah. So we'll have beer on the shelves in Denver. So we've got some of these.
Liquor stores?
I'm going to forget some, but off the top of my head, we got Mr. B's, small batch, Mile High Wine and Spirits, and Grapevine would be the ones those are some of the first ones that we ever distributed to.
Cool, man.
Those are the ones we always try to focus on. There's probably some other ones that I'm forgetting, but they'll be on the shelf. Some IPAs and some sours as well. So thanks.
Yeah, man, we're stoked that you could make this happen, and we're happy to be here. This was fun.
For sure.
Yeah, check those beers out. Seriously, everything we've had has been fucking.
It's top notch.
phenomenal.
Yeah, the hazes are really on point, and the sours are. These are good for anybody. You don't even have to be a sour beer drinker. Everything's there in balance. It's got this nice tartness to it. It has white wine qualities to it, so it's not it's dry, but it has these really great fruit effervescence to it. It's fantastic. So
Thank you so
really
much.
Glad that we made the trip.
Thank you guys for coming up here. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Tight.
Hell yeah.
Bye.
Go Chuckle Fuckers.